I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally from a professional.
David Anderson has become synonymous with global black wealth. Whether he's shaping policies at the World Economic Forum, playing key roles within political circles on both sides, mastering the art of building unshakable wealth on an international scale, or breaking down barriers so that black men around the world can win. David is the world's best kept financial secret weapon. From the ghettos of Southside Chicago to the Obama White House, to the homes of billionaire moguls, David's receipts stretch well beyond million-dollar bank accounts, African royal families, or celebrity inner circles.
But I believe that they did something that all of us can do.
David's true gift is in single-handedly positioning everyday brothers to become global millionaires. Why? Because it's about damn time we own what's ours and have a real seat at the table. Money, power, respect.
I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network internationally from a professional perspective or a personal perspective.
Hey. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I know people are getting started. We're just sending out the rest of the stuff. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties trying to move through those things. But welcome to 1 Million Black Men. We are getting started here. Super excited. Facebook, YouTube, everybody, thank you for being here. Today, well, first, let me say this real quick. For those that obviously know or heard about the critical a civil rights event that took place about a week and a half ago, the Alabama Brawl. It's so funny. Sometimes I'm not really, believe it or not, I'm not on social media. that often overall. Although I participate and I do this stuff to give back and to all that kind of stuff, but I'm not on there a whole lot. And it was interesting to hear about the whole space. I'm not a condoner of violence per se, but I do think that at times, nobody should ever get jumped. Nobody should ever be what I call completely outmanned by people because of whatever the case is, right? And so I think again, this is called 1 Million Black Men, so I'm talking to black men mostly. I think for the first time there was this sense of like, oh my gosh, we can fight back. Like, this is not right. I'm very interested in that. Tonight, the text and stuff is going out. Tonight, can you say hello in the chat? Folks are coming in, but real quick, say hello in the chat. I think also be some streaming issues, and I want to know. It's raining a lot, and so I want to know if there's any string issues. Please let me know so I can address those or stop. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe, please like. I know a lot of folks here, they tune in. Hey, Thomas, great. Okay. All right. Do me a favor, and I'm going to.
Lacey Simmons.
Okay. All right. Can you see me? Can you hear me, everybody? Can you see me? All right. Let me see in the chat real quick. Sorry, guys. I had to go to a completely different platform to see anything. Can you see and hear me? Okay. Okay, good. Keith, Gus, Terrence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, great, great. So you can see and hear me. Phenomenal. Okay, great. All right. All right, guys. So I know we got stuff. We got people coming on in. Text messages are going out. Thank you guys for being patient tonight. So you guys, we can go through everything. Really appreciate that. Sorry, for some reason, this particular lesson, just the signal is bad. We got a storm. We got a storm happening here in Chicago. So I guess the lines, everything is pretty bad and everything like that. So let's make sure team, my back office team, make sure those text messages go out. Everyone got it because I know we probably lost folks and everything. So what we're going to go through tonight is really, I want to go through time. I'm kind of doing this series about the different, what I call daily sins of business. And I wanted to go through this because we have been so technical about so many things that I wanted to kind of give what I call philosophy and mindset a little bit over the next couple series and lessons so that you can learn some things in a different way, but also get some concepts that might be a little bit different, a little unique to things you've heard in the past, right? All right, so if my team can do me a favor, we can get started as folks are coming in. Make sure emails and texts are sent. If you can, for my folks who are here and set up, can you put up, let's start out with, because we're talking about time today. So what I want to do, I want to go through some quotes. Some of them will be religious quotes, and some of them will be kind of men of stature, right? Historical figures, quotes and what they said about time and what we can gather from that. So if my team can put those things up real quickly and we talk about time from that perspective, be very, very helpful, right? So let's go ahead and put that up real quick as we the first quote. I think we had a quote from the Bible as well as the Quran. Okay, so here's one real quickly. Here's one, right? So look, lose no time to do good deeds before you might be caught up by one of the seven calamities awaiting you: starvation, which may impair your wisdom; a prosperity, which may mislead you; an ailment, which may damage your health; or old age, which may harm your senses, right? A sudden death or doomsday, which is indeed the hardest and most of all. This is in the Al-Timidah, which is in the Quran. Let's go to the next one. I'm laying the base platform for time as we go through all of this. Let's go to another one as we talk about time. Okay? Take advantage of the 5 matters before other matters: your youth before you become old, your health before you become sick, your wealth before you become poor, your free time before you become preoccupied, and your life before your death. This is in Musnad Iman Ahmad, right? That's also in the Quran. Let's go. We want to go now to some also biblical texts that talk about time as well. Look at this. So go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. No, it has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provision in the summer and gathers its food at harvest. Thank you for that. Teams, let's go to the next one. Again, I'm laying a foundation. I'm giving you these from 8 ancient texts, right? These are books and scriptures that have been around for thousands of years, way before I ever entered the scene, to just give you some context, okay? All right, the next one is, right, there is a time for everything, and season, right? And activity under the heavens. There's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to uproot, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build, a time, I can keep going, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to scatter, a time to gather, right? A time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to search, a time to give up. There's a time to keep, and there's a time to throw away. There's a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent, a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate. There actually is a time for war and there is a time for peace, right? This is King Solomon speaking in Ecclesiastes about time, right? We got two more we're going to go through, and then we're going to get into the crust of this, right? If you guys, if you've heard of some of this stuff before, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to know my audience, if you've heard this stuff before, just put a 1 in the chat. Let's go to the next one. We have some quotes from some really men who have, were brilliant and did some amazing things as well, right? So Benjamin Franklin says, time is money and lost time is never found, right? Time is money. Lost time is never found. That was, people say time is money a lot. That actually comes from, I'm sure people said it throughout history, but Benjamin Franklin is the one that kind of put that. He was really big into the clock and other things like that. Time is money, lost time is never found. And I have one more that I think will be very helpful for everybody, right? All right. The key is not spending time, but in investing it. This is Stephen Covey, right? The one who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, also other books. But the key is not spending time, but in investing it. This is Stephen Covey's workings and writings about time. All right, let's go back to full screen with me. All right, so I wanted to give other insight when it came to time, because I felt that time, this thing about time, is very crucial and important for us to understand and what we can do with time and how time varies. So hopefully, again, just like I did last time, hopefully these insights, I'm looking to change your lens. I'm looking to shift your perspective, okay, about this concept of time, and maybe you gain something new as it pertains to time, okay? So we're going to go into real quick. So let's talk about the people side, because I think the people side is very important, right? Because there are people that we can avoid or stop that will affect your time. And I'm talking to you, brother, and I'm talking to particularly those in the audience today, right? We're called 1 Million Black Men, particularly you, sir, because there are a lot of things that happens because we don't understand time. Now, let me say this first, okay? Time in its essence is created. When I say time is created, what I mean is that at the end of the day, the only thing that really is natural or really is part of the ecosystem of life when it comes to time is that the sun coming up, right? And the sun setting, right? So daybreak to dawn is actually natural to life. These are things that are actually natural to life, okay? Daybreak, right? Sunset. Those are things that everything else we've done to appropriate time has to do with our human ability to understand it. So the clock, right? The sundial, okay? The things that we create, okay? The 8-hour workday, the 10-hour workday. These are things so that we can operate in time, but time in itself is ambiguous in the sense that it exists, but how we deal with that time, right, is real. So although time is in some ways a figment of our imagination, the body gets old, right? We age, okay? Children get born, people grow up. All these things happen in time. So time and space can never be divorced from the human existence. Whether or not you do something with it or don't use it, you're always losing it. I'll say that again with time. Whether or not you're doing something with it or you're doing nothing, okay, you're going to lose it as you exist. So that's just the reality of time, right? The truth and reality of time. So, what are things, I like to give this first, what are a couple things of people that you can avoid, right, with your time? And this is real quick, and then I'm going to go into a couple of concepts, and then we're going to be done for the night. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, so I have to really do this like in a way because we got to go to stuff. So to avoid, okay, matter of fact, let me see if I can do this right here. If I can get the right, if I can get the right angle. I think that's the right angle. I think it is. Yeah, I'm good. All right. So to avoid, You're going to avoid these people, right? All right. If you can hear me real quick, make sure you can hear me. Just put a 1 in the chat. Make sure you can still hear me. Want to make sure you can hear me. All right. So you're going to avoid these 3 people. Number 1, I'm going to write it down real quick. You're going to avoid time drainers. Number 2, you're going to avoid time wasters. You're going to avoid the wasters and you're going to avoid the drainers. Now, let's talk about this. What is a drainer? And I got a third one for you, but I'm going to hold it off for a second. What is a drainer? A drainer is the person or the individual, okay? When you talk to them, when you leave that conversation, 8 out of 10 times, you're going to walk away drained. What I mean by that is this. They always have a problem that they cannot solve. They always got a burden that needs to be fixed. And it's always someone else's problem. And so when you speak to them, and you probably have these people in your life, okay, they are draining you. Like psychologically, when you walk away heavier, more than not, than you are. Now, these people will always exist in your life, okay? They will always exist. Whether or not they're negative, whether or not they're antagonists, whether or not they're just a person that, ended up in your family, okay? A time weight drainer is a person that will always exist. They drain you. They literally drain your senses. They drain your brain and your mind and your energy to where it's almost like a piranha. They like suck the energy out of you. You know what I'm saying? They suck it out of you. Okay, that's a time drainer. Number 2 is a time waster. What is the time waster? This one's very, 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 very unique, because what a time waster does, okay, a time waster is a personal individual. You can have a good conversation. You might even get some inspiration from the conversation. But for some reason, there's never a true follow-up from the conversation. So you will spend hours, minutes, or a big portion of your day or time talking about something or helping them with something, whatever it is. But for some reason, there's no actual follow-up. Okay? No actual follow-up. On social media, I will tell you right now, for those that are on social media and you're making a living from social media in some way, like this is not my main thing, but I'll tell those who are, right? And you are in a public light in some way, you will have people who reach out to you that just want to see if they can get your time, right? There are people literally, their goal is to waste your time. They literally want to see customers, right, that you have. They just want to suck your time, right? And so you have to be very, very diligent with time drainers and time wasters. Now, let me give you the third one. This one is very unique in the sense that you don't see it right away, but when I explain it, you're going to see it, right? The third one is time misappropriators. These are people, time misappropriators, okay? They're not a drainer. They're not a waster. They just really misappropriate time and your time, okay? Give you some examples of this. I'm going to go through the quarters of life next, but let me say this to you. There are people that are in a certain phase of their life, and they have what I call a critical phase or time of their life to do certain things. Because as you get older in life, you start to understand there are some things that life does not allow you to do. You can do it, but it's harder and it's more difficult to do, okay? It's just the reality, right? And so what people do is they are misappropriating time, okay? Misappropriating time in areas where they should not be doing this. And one of the most egregious things I've seen is watching an elder or somebody who's older, right, helping to misappropriate the time of somebody younger. Okay. Here's an example, right? When somebody's 55, 60 years old, let's say the kids are out of the house, everybody's grown, everything's good, right? And they're in retirement or they're in whatever they're doing, okay? They have a lot of time in their hands and they have a lot of time to do a lot of things, right? And then they're out with somebody who's 24, 25 years old. And that person should not be going out every weekend because they should be in their youth, right? Creating certain foundational things, right? So when they get older, when they get into their senior years, they have built a strong foundation so that they can enjoy some of their other years. But I have seen when you have someone older misappropriating and help to misappropriate time of somebody younger. Okay, somebody younger. And I've seen the vice versa. Misappropriators, they don't understand the season of life you're in or the era of life that you're in. And they are misappropriating your time. Okay, misappropriating your time. Fellas, let me just talk straight with you, right? There are other men that exist in your life or in the time of your life, right, who will help you misappropriate your time. Okay, I've seen this with buddies of mine who've gotten really wealthy. Okay, they've gotten really wealthy, sold a company, whatever it was. They have, they have tens of millions of dollars. Okay, tens of millions of dollars, right? And so they're out with their buddy, okay, who only has, $10, okay, $10, right? And they're in a certain phase of life, okay? So he has 10 million, the man got $10. It may be okay to hang out once or twice. Hey, this is my buddy. I want to hang out with him. But the problem is that the guy that has $10 does not have $10 million. So the best thing that the guy who has $10 million can do, right, is assist that brother or that whoever that may be in helping them also come up, but not saying, hey, man, come travel with me. Hey, come enjoy life with me. Come do all these things. I understand that the person that has 10 million, he wants a friend. He wants somebody to enjoy it with. He wants that camaraderie. But the reality is he's actually misappropriating, okay, the time of the person with $10. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be very much a steward and understanding the phases of life so that you don't misappropriate your time. Not only time drainers, not only time wasters, but you have time misappropriators. These are people that literally misappropriate your time. Guys, if you're following me, give me a 100 in the chat. Give me a 100 in the chat if you're following me, if you can see what I'm talking about, right? About people who misappropriate time. All right? Give me 100 in the chat. All right. So here we go. So what do you do, right? What I call this understanding the quarters, like in time, the quarters of life, okay? So you got the first, you got the second, you got the third, you got the fourth, okay? And I'm going to go through this and make it real simple. So first quarter, I call it 0 to 20 years old. Second quarter is 20 to 40. Third quarter is 40 to 60. And the fourth quarter is 60 to 80 plus. Okay? All right? 60, 80 plus. That's the fourth quarter, right? Each one of these quarters, you have different focuses in your life when you're in these quarters. Okay? When you're in these quarters. Obviously, on this thing, we talk about wealth a lot. And so part of the wealth of building, right, are these right here. Okay? Again, I can go through a whole lot of stuff, but most of your wealth building is going to happen in quarter 2 and 3. Okay? 0 to 20, this is a heavy learning quarter. Okay? And 60 to 80 is a heavy giving quarter. Giving and reflecting. Whether you're giving back to the earth, you're giving back to people, it's a heavy air time to give and reflect. So in these quarters of life, right, wealth building, giving and reflecting, and also learning. This is why people have to focus, right? And and are able to, right, focus on the quarters that they're in. I don't want my 7-year-old who's probably watching this, right? Hey Ada, if you're watching, okay? I don't want my 7-year-old, right, focused on she can do certain activities, she can do certain giving and reflecting, right? But she should be in a quarter, because she's not 20 years old yet, of learning. Her quarter of life should be learning, absorbing, traveling, doing math, being a student, focusing on understanding work ethic, understanding the foundations and the fundamentals of life. So when she gets into the second quarter and the third quarter, she can actually build, right? I say a wealth building, but really what this is, right? This is also wealth and life. I should say life building as well, right? To be fair, it's a wealth and life building season when you're in that age 20 to 40 and 40 to 60, okay? You're building your wealth and you're also building your life, okay? And so if you misappropriate this, this can be highly damaging to your life. So especially this lesson, talking to especially my brothers who are definitely under 40, I want to please share this with them. Let them know about this time of this live that we're doing, because it's critical, it's huge that you do not waste your time, right? I went through those religious scriptures earlier, through the Quran and the Bible. I went through other quotes from other great men and people. Time is the one thing that you do not get back. You can't make enough money for it. You can't be health enough for it. It just comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. Okay. So make sure you don't have somebody misappropriating, okay, your time. Look, you're always going to learn in life. You're always going to give in life. But in those second and third quarter, it's crucial that you do the building part of your life. Here's the last thing I'm going to give you, and we're going to knock this out. Last thing. Ready? All right. I want to talk about a thing here about free time, and especially I'm talking to I'm talking to my brothers under 30, and my brothers who are over 30. You can just put a 100 or a 1 or an amen or whatever in the chat to confirm for the brothers so that they don't think this is the game. I was just talking to my barber. My barber's a young brother. He's killing it in life, working hard, making things happen. And we were talking about some stuff, and I said to him, man, let me tell you something, right? I'm at a certain age now, the age you're at. He said, man, am I doing too much? I said, no, you're not doing too much. I said, that's what you should be doing. At this time in your life, you should be doing this. And I broke down this concept to him, and he said, David, I've never heard it like this before. Thank you so much. So I want to break this piece down. My back office team, I'm telling you guys right now, what I'm about to say needs to be a clip. It probably needs to be a clip. We're trying to get better at our social media so that we can probably put this into a short or some type of ability, because what I'm about to say, I haven't heard too many people break this down before. So I want to make sure that we get this and that we're able to share this with people in our lives. Are you ready for this? Now, this is the true story. In that season of my life, I read like 600 books independently. I used to work nonstop, get a lot of things done, all kind of stuff, and get a lot of things done. And I didn't understand something after, at the time I got married, I had kids, I did all this stuff. And I started to understand something that, man, in my youth, I did not fully understand. So I want to really, really give this clip. We got to really give this to young people so they understand this. So here we go. So you have 24 hours in a day, okay? Okay, 24. That's what God gave you. That's what it is. You have 24 hours in a day, okay? By medical science, you should sleep, okay, minus 8 hours a day, okay? Is sleep, okay? So that leaves you with 16 hours, okay? You probably are going to work 8 to 10 hours a day. You're probably going to work 8 to 10 hours a day, okay? I'm just going to, for all intents and purposes, we're just going to put 8 for now, 5 days a week. So I'm going to say you work 8 hours is work a day, okay? So now you have 8 hours left. You have 8 hours, okay? For those following me, they have 8 hours, right, of what I call free time. You have 8 hours of free time, okay, a day. Now, this is 5 days a week, so times 5 days, because we do have weekends, okay? 5 days, which that gives you 40 hours of free time a week, okay? 40 hours free time. Now, if we add the weekend you sleep 8 hours, so I'm going to say for the weekend, you're going to have 16 hours of free time, right? You know what? To be fair, I know some of y'all, you're going to say, I need more. I don't have that. I sleep more than 8 hours. I'm going to say on the weekend, instead of 16, I'll give you that. I'll give you 10 hours to sleep, right? So I'll say you get 14 hours. Okay? On the weekend. So that's times 2 days. So that is 28 hours. So your total hour time, right? A week is 68 hours. Okay? 68 hours. Now, I told the young brother this. I said, you got 68 hours a week to do whatever the heck you want to do. Whatever you want to do, right? I'm going to move this number over here. You get 68 hours a week. I said, man, that's a second job. If you want it, that's a thing. You get 68 hours a week to do whatever the heck you want to do. Now, I said, guess what happens, right? When you get, right, betrothed, and you get married and you find that person, right? Guess what happens? That time gets cut in half. Why does it get cut in half? Because now you're doing a lot of things that you would not do. You're doing things that the other person wants to do. So your time quota is cut in half because you've decided, right, for love, relationship, whatever the fact is. So now that time is cut in half. So now you go from 68 to 32 hours, okay? Still not bad. 32 hours of whatever the heck you want to do in your life. Whatever you want to do, okay? You get 32 hours of that time a week now that you're married. Now, have a kid. That 32 hours a week goes to, it cut in half, right? What do we got, fellas? 16? It goes to 16 hours a week. Brothers, for those that have a family or kids or something, if I'm telling the truth, please put a 100 in the chat, right? You may never heard it like this before, but if I'm telling the truth, just so everybody can understand, please like, comment, whatever. Put a 100 in the chat if I'm telling the truth. So you go from 68 to 32 to 16. Now you have another kid, it gets cut in half again. So now you got 8 hours a week. 8 hours a week. That is kind of like your time. Because remember, the rest of it, you're working. The rest of it, you're dealing with your children's needs. The rest of it, you're responding to other family. Other family things outside of yourself. Hey, your auntie, this is going on over here. Hey, grandma needs this over here. Somebody needs to move and they don't have no money. This will happen. Okay. So, sorry. Thank you so much, Cornell. Half of 68 is actually 34. I appreciate that. So I'm going to change that. Thank you for that. So that's 34. Half of 34 is 18. Okay. Half of this is 9. Okay. 9. Thank you so much for that. So the correct thing is that, gentlemen, 68 to 34 to 18 to 9. Okay. Thank you for those couple hours. We need those couple hours. So thank you so much, Cornell, for that. Right. So now you got 9 hours a week. Now I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna say if you keep adding the different kids, thank you. It's 17 actually. Thank you. 17. All right, so that's 8.5. We're right on to 9. Okay. So if you keep on, thank you so much for that, Cornell. If you keep on looking at this, I'm gonna say every kid get added. They kind of now are grouped together. You just let them roll how they roll. Okay. Right. But you got 9 hours a week. So what I told this young brother was this. Guess what? You went from 68 to 34 to 17 to 9. 68 34, 17 to 9. So ready for this? You ready for this? So I said, bro, do you realize for me in my life, hold on, I had to break this down for him. For me in my life, okay? I said in 10 weeks, I said my 9 hours a week, my 9 hours, right? What 9 times 7 is what, 63? Something like that, right? Right? Somebody check my math. 9 times 7 is what? Yeah. 9 times 6, yeah. 63. Okay? So I have to take 9 hours. I need 7 weeks, which is almost 2 months, to get the same free time that he gets in 1 week. Hold on, say it again. At this time of my life, I have 9 hours of what I call free time. And when I say free time, time that I'm not having to respond to people, work, do all kind of stuff, everything else, right? So it takes me 7 weeks to get to the 1 week that he has. And I said, man, this is why you got to focus. This is why, gentlemen, you don't let people, right? You don't let people drain your time, waste your time, or misappropriate your time. You do not let people, those 3 things, drain your time, waste your time, or misappropriate your time. Because as you get older and things change and things happen, you start to lose time and ability to do things that you would have been able to do. So what happens is that I told this young brother, I said, look, what happens is that then people spend, right, a long time in the 3rd quarter. Remember these quarters? Right? Remember the quarters? They spend a lot of time in the 3rd quarter trying to get time back. So from 40 to 60, if you talk to a lot of 40 to 60-year-olds, they're trying to find ways to what? Get their time back. Because they're like, crap, like I had some of the wrong focuses in the wrong quarter. That is today's lesson, right? About the sin of wasting time. Okay? It's a business principle, but you have to understand this so you can get better as an individual. I'm talking to the choir. I'm talking to myself. Like this piece, drainers, wasters, misappropriators, forget them, right? Get them out of your life or keep them very limited because they don't understand that your time is something that you don't get back. It's extremely, extremely valuable. Extremely valuable, okay? Right? And so if you don't appropriate that time right, you spend a lot of time later trying to get time back, get time back. So you're doing things to get time back, and that's okay. We all have to learn the lesson, but I'm giving you the lesson now. I'm telling you now. Again, please share this video with a brother. Please share this video with a brother or somebody who's in their 20s, especially in their 20s, and they can get it early and get it early. Do not let people waste, drain, and misappropriate your time, because as you get into different phases of life, as I said, you lose hours, right? You lose hours, and then you're trying to get back time because you realize, crap, I don't have as much time. So when you have the time, especially again, talking to my young brothers, when you have the time, please take advantage of all the time you got, because the time will change. Hear me. I want to talk real passionate here. I'm giving you a glimpse into the future, right? You're not going to want to work the same way. When you're in this phase of life, when you're in the 60 to 80 and you're in that 4th quarter, I'm telling you, I've interviewed enough. Look, you can still be excited about life. You can still be happy. You still have vitality. You can still have energy. But listen to me. I don't know a 65-year-old that has the same energy he had when he was 25. And many of them tell me, hey, get it all in while you can. Get it in, because you don't have the same You don't want to go at the same speed. Even if you could, you don't want to take on the same stress. The same stress, right? At 65, you have a different tolerance to life, right, than you did at 25, at 35, even at 45, right? So what my encouragement today is that this, wasters, drainers, and misappropriators, man, you got to get them out of your life, or you got to get them into a small part of your life so that you can do what you're supposed to do. Hey, look, this has been David Anderson with 1 Million Black Men. Guys, remember, our goal is to help free us psychologically. Number 2, free economically and financially. Financially is when we're able to buy what we want. Economically is so that we can own the things that people buy. And the last thing is wealth creation for 7 generations. This has been an episode of 1 Million Black Men. Look, man, I'm looking to see you at the top. Why? Because the bottom is just way too crowded. As we go out with our outro, as we say, look, hey, calling all black men, calling all black men to the table. Let's go get it. No harm, no foul. Let's make it happen, and let's be stewards of our time. Forget about drainers, forget about wasters, misappropriators. If you're in that time of life build, wealth building time, do that in your life. And then again, tell somebody else about the 4 quarters of life, and also help them understand how much free time they have so that they don't waste their time. Until next time, man, peace.
Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action, an action call. Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action, an action call for 1 million black men. I am Kwesi to put you on a call path to win. This is not a Zoom call or a call on Facebook Live. Though we are virtual, we are live. Not a call on TikTok like MLB black men, we are on the clock. Not a call from Snapchat. Move back my bat. We are on first base. To Isaac Hayes Jr. fan base, we have an eye line on third base. Grand Slam, not a call from Instagram, as we don't need validation with blue checks. We are the true checks. We do checks. We write checks. We are the right checks. We do family checks. We check in on our sons and our daughters. We are black men who walks on waters because our children like to place time. We are black men who FaceTime. Let's FaceTime. This is still not a call from an Android or an iPhone. It is extraterrestrial to phone home. I know sometimes black men, we have to travel around the world to be appreciated at home. But you are not alone. You are in the each one, teach one green zone, where the elusive weapon is the truth. We are the black truth. We are Paul Pierce, the truth. We are the loot. We are 1 million black men strong. We will get along as we landline. We walk across their blue and red line. Now this call is from a landline with rotary numbers and a coiled cord. We are 1 million black men on one accord. This cord and phone transmits a dial tone, whether a local call or a call of long distance. Regardless of the distance, it connected us. Social media unconnected us. Our homes need us. They soul feed us. And not just food that give us niggas-itis. I write this, our homes bleed, sweat, tears for us. Black men, it is up to us. It is on us not to just procure the bag. Buddha bless one, share it with me. Get the info under your afro, bro. And establishing sovereignty to be a one united bank for economic just us. Black men, we must set up a family trust to an estate, because right now everything is at stake. Because we can't lead from behind, from your behind to your mind. They are public with their malevolence as they use artificial intelligence in this age of information. Elon Musk bought Twitter to gather more of our information. So if I have to be the Starlink, I will break the Starlink for 1 million black men. But I won't condone our culture with misuse of our information. So I grant you David Anderson for this financial literacy education. DA went from shy Southside streets to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. From Chicago State to Harvard. At 19, he fathered the economics in his family house. DA served in President Obama administration at the White House. He lived in China for 3.5 years, learning the Chinese economy, the renminbi. To the British pound, black men, let's get this pound. To the European euro, we NBA step into the euro. To the Uganda shilling, black men, let's be empowered by our billing and be willing to learn and understand. Money is just a tool to build unshakable wealth. 7 generations deep that DA will teach that we can compete in an economy beyond that's local. Black men, we must think global. So I present to you David Anderson to put you on this financial literacy path to win. Welcome to the movement. 1 million black men.